I am doing some videos of my sound systems throughout the years, and this, believe it or not, I still have from when I was in elementary school way back in the 1970s. And it is my cassette player and recorder. It is a Panasonic, and you can see it's been tucked away in the basement and has developed a lot of grunge on it. I'm going to have to try to clean it up. It's not too bad. I've covered up with some masking tape I had with a label maker, my name right across it. So since we're going for a YouTube video, I wanted to mask that off for now. But the buttons at the top, still in really good shape. We have eject, fast forward. Trying to get it to focus better. I'm doing this with my iPhone, my newest sound system. Rewind, play, stop, and record. And there is the mic. That's where I used to just put my mouth right up to it and talk into it. We have here where we put the tape. Of course, this is the eject, I guess, would be the safer way to do it. It's a little dirty in there, but we're going to test it to see if it works. The handle where I could carry it around, and I did carry it around. And I remember putting this mic up to my radio, which we're going to look at, which I still have, and recording, was it Dick Clark's Top 40? Was he the one that did it? No, Casey Kasem's Top 40, and I would record him every week, and I would actually sit down, and I had a paper, and I would write a list of the top 40 and watch how they changed each week. On the back side, we have where the batteries go. There are 4 C's in there. This should have been wound around. Let's take them out. My husband did it for me. Can you get them out, dear? Can't do it with one hand. Right, you got to stay on the film. Obviously, the batteries do not come out easy. They would come out easier if you had wound this around correctly. I think I learned this when I was 7. And yes, this is why you use, I got it, dear. And then, did you get these in? You didn't get those wound in right. Now you got to get them out. Yes, this is why you have the little pull tag. Oh, wait a minute. I got it. Let's try it again. You have to put this down on the bottom. You gonna help me, dear? Can't do this one-handedly. You got to put this down on the bottom and then put the batteries in on top of it. On top of the, yeah, there you go. Now you lean it this way and you put the batteries in on top of that. I think my dad had to show me this when I was young. Now it doesn't stick out as far. Actually, you could tuck this in. And basically you just pull on that and the batteries come right out if you wind them in there correctly. Goodness. So let's see if this thing plays. This would be the speaker on the back. So I've drug out Michael Jackson. I don't think I played him on this. I'm not sure what I played on this. I think I mostly recorded off the radio and played that with this. So let's hope it doesn't eat Michael Jackson. He's in there. That's record, and that's play. Woohoo! It works! From the 1970s. Is there a volume somewhere? Oh, we got a headset here. So you could listen with a headset. Aha! volume. They actually have a mic and a monitor. Huh. That's as loud as it gets. Turn it around, it's louder. Now I can carry my music outside. Isn't that cool? It works. I love it. Okay, I gotta stop jamming. Where's my stop button? Oh, and we have fast forward. Still works. Stop. Rewind. Ooh, you have to hold down the rewind button. That's hard on the finger. And eject. Oh! This would be a piece of equipment that I played with every single day for years. And look at it, it still works. How come they don't make things like they used to? Okay, here we are looking at my very first radio. It's known as a transistor radio. And for those that like to look at the inside of things, we're going to start with the inside open. And this is how you had to put the battery in. So from an early age, I was able to see the inside of electronics. You don't see that very much anymore. It even has the serial number in it still. See, I took good care of it. So basically the lid just pops on like this. And if you want to get it back off, you can put a screwdriver or a coin in there and push them apart. And that's how you got to the battery. This on the back is AM, FM. And here's what the front looks like. And it is a Panasonic. And there's the speaker. The front facing's really worn off, the silver, because I use this a lot. And here the strap is still good. I remember I used to put this on my wrist and hold my radio like this to walk around, and I think I even rode my bike with it like that. It's amazing how much I use this and what a good shape it is still in. The only thing I noticed that is wrong with it is the very tip of the antenna up here is actually off. But whoops! Of course, hopefully it'll still work after I did that. So the antenna can be pulled all the way up. It gets pretty high, much taller than the radio itself. And it is movable, so you can really find whatever you need. We keep this radio around the house because you can't find transistor radios anymore. You cannot buy them, and in case we need it, in case the electricity goes off and we're stuck in the basement in a bad storm, we can have this there to pick up the local radio. So on this side is where you'd put your head jack. On this side we have the tuner button and the on-off button. This also runs the volume. So let's turn it on. And it is not working. Okay, let's pull it back apart. I think when oh, there we go. It has to do with the connection somehow when we put that back together. And so you move the tuner button on the top, and you look at the FM side if you are on FM, and you look at the AM side if you are on AM. Let's see, it works pretty good.
All for the price of an 18. Cool nights are awesome in a bubbly hot tub. Starting at $24.99. And
so you see, it works pretty well.
96.5.
And then we just simply change it to AM. And then you're looking down here at this part when you're trying to get on something on AM.
Mountain climber and is blind. Recently, on behalf of BVA and other blinded veterans, he
So you
visited the
can see it
members
works really well, and I think this is from,
The way to find the injury reminds.
I'm going to turn it off. I really think this is from the early 70s, so it's worked all these years, and as I keep saying, they just don't make things like they used to. This is great. I think I'll have this forever. Here is my first alarm clock radio, and this is what I used to wake up to go to elementary school. And we've had it in the bathroom. We used to use it all the time in the bathroom, and it hasn't been turned on in years. It's having a little bit of an issue connecting, but it is still working. This is a General Electric, and there's the time. You can see I've got it plugged in. The time is going round and round. And you have the wake to music, off and on button here, and that is one thing that is not working well. On the back, this button here sets the time, and I don't know which one. I think the red is what you set to wake to music. So it's not exact science here. You have to get it just about right to wake up on time, or wake up to music a little bit early so you're not late. And over here is where you select the FM and the AM channels. FM on one side, it says FM AFC, and AM on the other side. And over here is your volume, your tuning, and switching between AM and FM. Now, actually, this switch between AM and FM was giving us a little trouble. We got nothing when we first tried turning it on, and I was fiddling with that, and all of a sudden we heard a little bit. So I left it on. I'm just going to turn up the volume. But now this button's not working. That should be off, and that should be on. And so, I don't know. Maybe if we cleaned it up a little bit. But you can see we've got music coming in now. And it is working.
Lucy, I want you all over that American Girl store. Tommy, table for 4.
And for the fragrant incense.
I'm going to turn it back down. So you can see it works pretty well, except for the front button is not working, and this button here, you can try switching it to AM. You see we lost everything. This button we had to get just right. There, now we got AM.
Project. And so God says, I want you to be.
I'm going to turn it down. And so this button's a little finicky, and this button's a little finicky, but the thing still works, which is cool. And so, can you believe I still have this from the 70s? Ha! Very fun. Okay, here is my first sound system from when I was in high school, probably late 70s or early 80s, probably early 80s. And I can't believe I still have it. But I think I had this also. We used it when we were first married, and maybe when our oldest son was first born. Had it in the living room. And so you can see I did have records back then. We're gonna plug this in. Is it plugged in?
Yes.
Let's see. Power would be right here. Ah! And the radio works. Cool. This would be the volume. I can see it's kind of staticky. Ah, that speaker over there is going out. It doesn't seem to want to stay stereo. Oh, there, I got stereo. Here we go. Speaker there and a speaker there. And you can see that works fine. But we've got choices here. The AM, FM. Phono would be the phonograph or record player. Let me see. I do have a record here. We do have lots of records. This one happens to be Happy Days Rock and Roll. I have no idea. But we're going to stick it in there. And somewhere over here, I see we have to choose a 33. I think the 45s were the smaller records. And then you put the needle on the record. And then do what? I think it's broke. I don't think it's working. Because I think what used to happen as soon as I set it down, this started turning. Why is it? Oh, wait, it's working. I gave it a little shove. Okay, it's coming off. Now, how do I get it back on? There we go. Let's turn it up. The speakers aren't real good. Ah, my very first record player is playing. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Okay, and then it should just come off on its own, but I'm helping it. I forgot how it came off on its own.
When it gets to the end of the album.
Oh, when it gets to the end of the album. That's right, you're right. Here is, I actually have my small 45 record still in here. Very cool. Oh, wait, that's my mom's. To know him is to love him. These in the front were my mom's. What's this one? That's not the Flamingo Love. Oh, wait. Check this out. Who knows what this is? Well, this is not one of them. This actually goes with the doll I have, and I still have the doll downstairs. But you could actually get records like this that are cardboard on the back of your cereal boxes. And that's what I thought that was, but it isn't. I don't have any cereal box records. This was a record that was just stuck in something that I had one time. Could have been in a cereal box. Anyway, some of my records. Ooh, the theme song from SWAT. How about John Denver? I have them even, I think they got put in here backwards because the opposite side is, no, that's not right. I think I did have them organized. Tiger Baby, that's a fun song. Convoy, remember that song? Who's old enough to remember that? Ah, that Captain and Tennille. Love On, Shine On, and on the other side, oh, Devil Woman. My parents actually let me have that. Oh, actually, I see the number guide. Yeah, I knew I had it indexed. See, I've been organized for as long as I can remember. There's all the songs written, each of them with a number. So, blinded by the light. Anyway, they're all in here. Let's see. Oh, there's an original Superman, which is actually it's coming out. It's actually a 78 speed, which was my grandparents'. I've had that for a long time. And then the actual book, I wonder if that's worth any money. It's not going anywhere. I've had it this long. This one back here, I have no idea. Okay, so anyway, I had the 33 albums too. They're all out in the living room. But I noticed, interesting enough, there's actually some cassettes that I left in here. Let's see if you change it back to tape. Ah! That was a funky noise, and hit play. I guess that's as loud as it gets.
It's Billy Ray Cyrus.
It's obviously not a cassette I cared about. Something I recorded off the radio, maybe. I don't like Billy Ray Cyrus. How funny. What's on this one? Hit play. It's dragging.
I spot for the brand new invention. That's all I know, so I'm still bring up the rest, and I don't know anymore.
And yes, this is what you can do with cassette players. Let's fast forward it.
Unable to be of any use at all, using all of your friends like a ring big world.
Oh my gosh, that's my nephew singing. So obviously these are tapes my children were at home playing with. Wait till he hears.
Tired of your face, the sound of your voice. I don't know the rest of this, so I'm not looking at the paper.
I don't know the rest of the song. Let me look at the paper. Okay, that's going to be a true treasure when I dub that digitally and put it on Facebook. Pride material. Anyway, I knew I didn't like Billy Ray Cyrus, so that had to have been my nephew and my son doing that. Those tapes in there. Hopefully they didn't tape over anything important. So anyway, back to FDS. Ow! I'm sorry if I hurt your ear. See, look, it came off. But it can be easily fixed. And this is how you tune the radio.
Community Bank.
The I-Man mornings, along with up to.
Not working too bad. It is well used. Well used. I think that the boys must have played with this tape when this was hidden in the basement all those years. Anyway, that would be it from my high school days, and I still have it. Okay, here is my recorder that I used in college. I would take this to my college classes to record my college professors, and then go back and listen to it to study for my exams. And you can see this is a Panasonic, and buttons work really well. Well, this ejects it, but it only ejects it if you got one in there. There's where you put one in, and you got play, record, and stop, and then the rewind and fast forward buttons. There's the speaker, and the mic was, I think that's the mic on top. And it actually had a counter, so that, I remember that was cool technology way back then. Can't get it to focus, but in there are little bitty numbers. Little counter, So you could tell where you were at on the tape, the volume, and the earplugs. And it took for AA batteries, but it's not working very well. I think I'm going to end up just throwing this out. So I did the same thing. Let's put a tape in. This happens to be Bruce Springsteen, born in the USA. And you press play. Volume all the way up. It's not going. Ha! It was working a few minutes ago. You hit that and it comes out. You can see it's not working. So I think when I took this off, this happens to be very sensitive. In here, I remember the connection being bad. We had it working. Turning now? Seems to be turning now, maybe. Whoops. There it goes. You can see it sounds horrible. It's kind of dragging and slow, and that's as loud as I can get it. Might be louder if I put a head jack on. I do have this that I bought years ago. It's an adapter where on the end these little pieces would come off, so you could choose the one that best worked. The size, I cannot get it in with one hand, but basically then you could run this with by plugging it into the wall. Can't see what I'm doing. Here it is, right here. Right here. I was in the right place. Plug it in, plug it into the wall, and you could run it by electricity so you didn't wear down your batteries. But like I said, it's just not working very well. I don't know, the newer things don't hold up like they used to. Okay, here is our sound system when my boys were little in the 90s. And I actually had this thing all hooked up to the TV. I had it all rigged up so that our TV sound would go through it, even though it wasn't supposed to go through it. I remember in the back I had all these things, wires, zillions of wires and connectors and splitters and things like that, because I had it also going to a turntable, as well as our TV, as well as playing it right here in the front. So it did have an antenna for listening to the radio. Back here we have, hopefully it's all plugged in. I guess it's not plugged in. Let's plug it in to the wall. And we have two cords coming out of the back of each. This one I did use. You see, it actually goes in the back right there, one for each speaker. But then the other one, which comes here, was like this, and went into, I guess you're kind of upside down now, it's kind of dark, but went into these four things, and I had splitters coming out of them and whatnot. This one is to the antenna. But that's the back of it, and I believe it's plugged in, and yep, and when you plug it in, it does that, like a casino for a while. Oh, I got 17 points. I don't know why I did that. I thought we were supposed to be impressed with it, but I never was. So, I just found it annoying. Over here, open that up please, the light again. I'm not getting good lighting. Kind of got a little bit of a glare. I don't know why I'm not focusing. So it's hard to tell, but this says tape deck 1 and 2, which are down here for cassette tapes. And we have tuner radio, which I'm going to go ahead and click on, which causes that to stop. Oh, tuner band. There we go. It's trying to do all sorts of things on me. It works, but this is volume. And I forgot how you tune it. This thing was actually more complicated than it needed to be. I think we tuned it here. Yeah, that went up 1 and that goes down 1. So I think you could preset the channels here. I'd have to really play with it to remember. This says open close, which is opening and closing the disc changer up at the top, and it was a 3 disc changer. So this is where you would put your CDs, and then just push it a little bit, give it a little push, and it would close again. Click that and open it, put your CDs in, and once you had them in, just close it again. I think somewhere here, disc change. So let's open it. And you put them in those 2, and then you click disc change, and it changed it to the next one. So you could fill up 3 CDs and listen to music all day long. So this one is video or auxiliary. So that would be what we put it on when we played our turntable. Yes, we do still have records. And this is the CD. So you'd put it on this after you had your CDs in the top, and you could hit play here. I don't know why it says preset. That should be play. Never did understand it. It's the Iowa brand. Here's the speakers. Now, down here on the bottom, it was real cool because you just push on it and it kind of gently opens, and then you can close it again. And that was new, fantastic. You wondered why. But then that was for the cassette tapes. Now we were testing with some cassette tapes to see if it would work. And obviously I like Journey a lot, because this one started making a whole lot of weird noise. And this, yes, is what would happen to cassette tapes. It broke right off. And if you remember, sometimes they get caught in there. And if you could manage to get them out without breaking, you could always stick your finger in here and turn these things to make the tape go back in. There we go, it's slowly going back in. And hopefully play it again. But sometimes this would get crinkled, and wherever it was crinkled, it would make a funny noise. But this one's actually broke, I think. It's actually pretty. If it's not broke, it's real knotted. I don't know if I could salvage or not, but it isn't worth it. So there's where the tape runs through. For those that have never seen cassette tapes, it's a good thing we don't have to go back to this. You could always tell where you were at by the center, because if there's more on one side than the other, you would know where you're at on the tape. And when you were winding and rewinding it, that's where you could tell where you were at on the tape. Of course, always listed the songs on the tape in order. And then in the cassette, I'm sure there's people alive that have never seen one of these. That makes me feel so old. You could take this cover out, and inside, if your eyes are that good, you could follow along with your music. Itty bitty 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 lyrics. Itty bitty. You know, I'd put this in and blow it up now to get to the lyrics. And then you would just put them back in the cover and stick this back in, the tape side down to protect it. And if you didn't put the tape side down, it wouldn't line up with these that went through the holes, so then you'd have to turn it over anyway. And there's what cassette tape covers look like. But this one sounds really, really bad. So that's what happens to cassette tapes. They just did not last very long. The more you played them, the worse they got. And eventually, it seemed like they would get caught and do this. So we got this over here, which, you know, is my husband's. Mine, I don't know where it is. I had mine in a little bitty leather carry-around case. But when we got married, we somehow put them together. And here are my cassette tapes on the top. Actually, this is a good one. You can see I like Michael Jackson, Air Supply, and Alabama got thrown in there. Flashdance, Rick Springfield, and Madonna. I guess that's what I decided to invest my money on. But in here is also some, like here is tape. Oh, I don't know if you can see it, but it says on side A, it's Sean Cassidy. Huh. How funny is that? But I think we're going to find some gems as we go through here, because I actually saw one in here that had my son's name on it at 3.5 or something. Oh, wait, there's a son at 2.5. That should be, let's see if it's any good. But you could, you know, record tapes. You would get the blank tapes like these and record them. Oh, there's my oldest son at 2.5. That should be interesting, and I'm wondering if there's any way of transferring these to digital now, so I could just listen to them on my computer. I do have one over here that is from genealogy that I taped some lady who's now passed away who was telling me all about my genealogy, and I'm not sure it's legible. Rocky IV. I listened to that one a lot. Here's my husband's. John Cougar Mellencamp and Elvis all the way. Those are some miscellaneous ones in there. Rick Springfield. He really liked Rick Springfield. So, and Elvis and John Cougar Mellencamp's still his favorite. So this is sound system number, I don't know, 3, 4, and we had it for the longest period of time until about just 3 years ago, till about 2010 when we bought our new TV and got surround sound. And I'm not sure whether we'll keep this or not, but here's a movie documenting it, so we'll always remember what it was like. Okay, so I turned this thing off and I had to turn my video back on because it made us laugh. We have to remember this. When we turn it off, it actually says goodbye. Okay, and here is our most recent sound system. It's not actually a sound system other than this is a receiver. A receiver feeds out to all the speakers. We had 2 here, 2 little ones here, a big one in the middle. Down there is the boom box, and we've actually got them. The other 2 speakers fed into the bathroom because we be cool old adults. But we had this thing rigged to the hilt with the TV and with the DVD player, the TiVo, the turntable, and I don't know, we had wires going everywhere. And we wanted something simpler, so we're going to look at that in a minute. But here's the turntable that we actually used with this set that we reviewed earlier. We got that turntable when we got this set because we could no longer play the records on this set after we weren't using this one anymore. We started using this one, it was great, but we couldn't play records, so we got this turntable, and we continued to use the turntable with the receiver. So, and in the front, I could plug up my iPhone here and play music from it. So we are still using it in this spare bedroom, and got two of them going into the bathroom, as I said, so we can stand in the hallway, the bathroom's over there, and have stereo. So works really well. Can get very loud. It's on radio right now, and so we can play the records or play the radio right now. I guess we could hook it up further if we wanted to, but that's all we're going to use it for at this point in time. And here is our most recent sound edition. We didn't feel like hooking up all those wires from the receiver to the new TV, and so now we just have a sound bar as our main sound for our smart TV, which you just get to see a reflection of everything there. But the sound bar is sufficient enough for us in our small house. We can listen to the records now that we're empty nesters from the sound system in the spare bedroom. So it works.